Welcome back, everybody. I'll watch him too. We are picking up where we left off the other day. So at the moment, I'm working through a few games at once. The very thing I said that I needed to stop doing. Open volume mixer. PowerWash is not super loud. I'll turn it down a little bit more. It just seems loud. Okay. I think I typically do these the hardest way possible for myself. Why is your nickname? Wait, was it? Uh-huh. It is, isn't it? Whoops. My bad. That's my nephew's name. And I guess when I was setting people's nicknames on Steam, I must have confused the two of you. My bad. You are certainly not my nephew. Or are you? I don't know if it's a good idea to have the Steam overlay captured, showing my friends list and stuff. I don't know. I like for it to be on there. That way, if we get achievements and stuff, you could see it in real time with me, but I don't know. I'll fix it if I remember. I can remember to do it later. I'll fix it. What they had in the second game? You know what? I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, why did it have to be a whole second game? Why not just keep improving the first one? You know, like they do with Minecraft. We've never had a Minecraft 2 or like Pokemon Go. We've never had Pokemon Go 2. It's just infinitely updating the original, which works out, honestly. I'm cool with that. I mean, I'm not on Pokemon Go anymore, but it works for Minecraft. I'm not far enough into this game yet to really know what advancements they've made. What pinged? I don't know why it pinged. There's a few little quality of life improvements I think I mentioned last time. I don't remember what they are at the moment. Well, they made a lot of DLC for the first game. Yeah, you know, that you're probably right. You'll sell more if you just make a whole new game and market it as a sequel. You're right about that. I'm just happy to be playing more of it. This game captivated me in a way I really didn't see coming, you know? When I first started playing the other one, the first one, I thought, oh, this is a cute little game that'll take maybe a few days to finish. Months later, I'm so enthralled with it. It just scratches that itch that I have for cleaning and OCD and just all that stuff. It's so calming and satisfying. And I've had a pretty stressful week. So I could use some calm. Why do I delete it? Oh, well, I record while streaming, and I like to upload the highest quality version possible with no artifacting and no, you know, it just looks cleaner. I can do a proper intro, proper outro. I can edit anything out if it needs to be edited. Like if I go to the restroom, and I could cut that out in a recording. Also on YouTube, everything that you stream is under the live tab, and I like for everything to be under the video tab. So just more OCD. So just a preference. Ideally, I would like to upload the episode the same day that I stream it. But again, it's been kind of it's been a stressful few weeks, and I don't exactly have time. Ah, crap. I haven't had as much time to work on it as I would like. But I should be back to complete normal schedule next week. So it should be like, hey, I streamed it. Let's get it uploaded same day. Could be. I know there was, what, almost a week in between that Minecraft stream and then getting the VOD uploaded properly. Yeah. Can I switch to the green one? Covers way more ground, I think. Yeah, there we go. Well, ideally, I should cut out the boring parts, but that's not really what I do. I kind of just leave it all there. Unless it really needs something cut out. Like, how would you cut out the boring parts on this? I think most YouTubers would kind of just talk constantly through their whole stream while playing something like this. And then they would just leave in the highlights. They would leave in where they're talking to chat or something funny happens. But I typically try to leave in all of the gameplay too. There have been instances in past episodes of different series that I'll do where I will cut some stuff down, but not very often. Because I kind of feel like, you know, the controls are there. If you're in a lull, you could probably just fast forward it a little bit. I don't know. I guess I probably should edit some stuff out more than I do. But I don't know. I'm hesitant to edit a lot of the stuff out because I don't want to lose. And that's something that I've always heard other people say. Nobody's on YouTube watching gameplay videos for the gameplay. And I always felt the opposite of that. I'm like, well, I don't know. On the rare occasion that I do sit down and watch a Let's Play, I'm kind of there for both the game and the personality of the person playing it. But honestly, I'm happy just to watch the game. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Just take something like PowerWash Simulator 2. It's kind of satisfying to watch me wash this stuff. So maybe talking is actually a detriment to this series. I don't know. You know? I think it's different strokes for different folks, honestly. Completely unrelated note, since you're a Mario fan, when do you think we'll see the big Mario 3D game for the Switch 2? I've been wondering about that. Like, it hadn't crossed my mind. When the Switch 2 came out, I thought, we'll get it when we get it. but it won't be anytime soon. But this past week, it's kind of been on my mind a little bit, wondering, you know, how long it'll take. I'm kind of wanting to play it now. I'm just kind of hoping they don't wait 8 years. They won't, but you know. Have to get more ladders and go up. I think I may have covered all of this blue part. Yeah. Okay. No! So bad at this. Always falling off. Scream at the top of his lungs. Yeah. Sometimes as people watch just to see the person scream. I think I kind of outgrew that. I don't know that I was ever into that, to be honest. I think I maybe tolerated the screaming stuff. I'd have to climb up the mill. Oh, come on. Come on, guy. There we go. I'm actually kind of enjoying a little bit of a Nintendo break. I mean, yeah, I'm playing Pokopia, but like there's no major Switch 2 titles coming out anytime soon that I'll be playing, at least. So it's given me a little bit of a break to work on other things. I've actually been a little busier IRL lately, more than usual. I've been staying busy working on things. So my YouTube has kind of taken a big back seat lately. I almost didn't stream at all today, honestly. I started to say, I just have too much other work to do. But I thought, you know what? It's not going to hurt to sit down for an hour or two and do a little stream. I did want to come in and finish this project, get this place cleaned up fully. That way when we come back in next time, we can start on a brand new spot. I know I got some Animal Crossing to do. We're about to roll over into August. I think we're only missing one fossil in Animal Crossing New Leaf. And maybe just a handful of bugs and fish. I did write it all down, so. I was right. There might be a telescope in every single stage. If that's the case, there might be some sort of space-related ending. I'm really glad that the dirt didn't mess up the quality of this wood. A lot of times IRL, wooden floors get ruined so easily from stains. Especially like if you have pets. Pet stains are the worst enemy of wooden floors. Even if you don't have an animal that goes inside, every now and then they're going to have an accident. Hell, you might even spill a drink or something. You got to clean that shit up quick. We used to have wooden floors years ago. And when they aged out, my dad pulled them up and just put vinyl down. I was so disappointed. I was like, no, we could have fixed the wood. But that's his house. That's his prerogative. I am in line. Well, in line. I am in my parents' will to inherit their house when they pass away. Unfortunately, I have to share it with my sister, so she'll probably live in their house. I'll be off doing my own thing, but she'll probably end up living in it indefinitely. I don't know what her plans are. Play Dino Blade. Yeah, I saw that. It's funny, you mentioned Dino Blade to me, I think, in the Discord, or you posted in the Discord, that Thomas mentioned it to me the other day. And it's funny because I saw, and this might be unrelated, but years ago, like at this point, it's been 3 or 4 years, if not more, maybe 5 or 6 years. But I remember way back in the day before Twitter went to hell, there was a user who used to post a picture of a Spinosaurus holding a big long sword, kind of like a Buster sword like Squall would use in Final Fantasy, or maybe one of the bigger swords from Monster Hunter. And I always thought those were cool pictures. And then I started seeing videos of it and I thought, oh, that's really neat. And I think he may have even had a YouTube channel where he made videos of a Spinosaurus wielding a sword and flipping around. Now there's a game. And again, it could be unrelated, but I definitely want to check out Dino Blade. Whew. Action RPGs I can do. Like classic RPGs where it's your turn, my turn, I don't do so well with. I get bored quick. Pokemon being the notable exception. Yeah, the Berserk Sword. Get a carpeted kitchen. Carpeting is nice. Carpeting's what I have in this room that I'm sitting in at the moment, streaming from. It's... I would not do carpeted bathrooms. To me, that is just the ick. Because here's the thing. Even if you're an extremely clean person, and I mean like ridiculously clean, and you never ever spill any water anywhere, like when you wash your hands in the sink, you drip dry and you don't reach over for the towel and let water hit the floor, if you never make a mess while brushing, if you completely dry off standing in the shower and you never take water with you out onto the floor, no matter how many precautions you take, just the humidity alone from taking a shower is going to moisten that carpet, and that carpet is going to have moisture. It's going to lock that moisture in between the carpet and the floor. It's going to lock it in the fibers. It's going to mildew, and you're going to have mold, and it's just gross. Gross. Never ever. You should not carpet a kitchen, and you should not carpet a bathroom. I remember this being a huge point of contention back in the day when my parents, I want to say in 91, they bought their first house. Because we had been, when I was born in 84, and for the first 5 years of my life, we lived in a trailer park. And then we moved into an actual like house and neighborhood. And when we moved in, the house had carpeting. But it was like very ugly 80s shag carpeting. And my dad had all that ripped out, and he put, you know, he had a company come in and put new carpet down. We had that for years. And then when that carpeting got old, he had them come in and rip that out and put in hardwood floors. And I was a huge fan of the hardwood floors. I don't know. I think it's a by room basis. Like for me personally, I would do stone or tile or linoleum in bathrooms and kitchens and washrooms. Bedrooms, I could do carpet. I could see carpeting in the bedrooms, kind of nice. Living room could either be carpet or hardwood floors, but I think I prefer hardwood floors in like living rooms, dining rooms, dens, hallways. I think I'm a hardwood floor guy. But I'm also a big fan of tile and stone. Nice and cool in the summertime. That central AC keeping the house cool. It's the good stuff. But my parents and my sister are bad hoarders. And I'm the complete, like, polar opposite of them. I am a neat freak. I'm cleaning constantly. For Christ's sakes, within arm reach, I have a feather duster. I was cleaning all day before I went live. I'm going to keep cleaning when I'm done streaming today. I have more cleaning to do. I got to grab my laundry out of the dryer. I'm a neat freak. Very neat freak. If I always shower at night, but if I'm the kind of person that if I go outside in the summer and get extremely hot and muggy and sweaty, I have a hard time coming back in and sitting on the furniture gross. I'll take a second shower. But my family are hoarders, and I was just talking in the Discord earlier to Tyler and Lewis. I have a private channel that I talk to them in about stuff that I don't want to share publicly, and I was showing them pictures of my parents' hoarder house where they just have shit stacked up. And I'm hoping that it hasn't ruined the house beyond like fixing it. And it's hard to clean it while they're in it, because even there's been a few times over the years where I'll come in and I'll clean for them, do something with their hoarder mess, and they'll just pile it right back up again. You know what I mean? I'm fighting a losing battle trying to help keep their place clean. And it wasn't always as bad as it is now, because growing up, it wasn't an issue. Growing up, my mom cleaned house once or twice a week and kept it immaculate. You know, we grew up in an extremely clean house. But she's in her 60s now, and she doesn't do as much cleaning as she used to. Of course, we're grown, so you don't have, you know, kids running around your house anymore making a mess. And she only has the one grandchild, and he's relatively clean. He doesn't make messes. I mean, he made messes when he was younger, but he's in his teens now, so he doesn't make a lot of messes. Now it's just age is meeting up with like not cleaning as often, and I don't know. It's a headache. It's a headache. It bothers me a lot. They're those kind of people where they'll like they'll keep a plastic container for no reason. Like let's say they go to Walmart and they buy ice cream that comes in those plastic tubs, and when the ice cream is gone, they'll wash the tub and keep the tub. I might want to put some stuff in. You're never going to put anything in that tub. You're going to stack them up 8 high and put them in the corner. Throw the tub in the garbage. Just boy. Just keeping junk. Yeah, that too. They'll get mail. They'll look at it. If it's not like immediate, like a bill or something that needs immediate attention, it'll just get put in a stack and set over there. They won't immediately throw junk mail away. They won't immediately open the mail. My dad will more than my mom. My mom has gotten, I'm hesitant to say lazy, but she's gotten lazy with old age. You know, she can't be bothered. Now, again, I feel bad saying lazy because, you know, she has rheumatoid arthritis and a litany of other health issues at her age. So when you're in pain all day and feel like shit all day, the motivation to kind of clean isn't there. So it's not, I get it. I get it. I do understand. But you still got to do what you got to do. Boy, you sure are airing out a lot of personal family business on the internet. It's fine. Nobody's ever going to meet these people. You don't know who they are. It's bad. Yeah, my grandparents did it too. And I think it's something that my parents just kind of inherited from them because my grandparents were born in the 30s and 40s. So they grew up in an era of not having a lot of stuff. They grew up kind of poor and in the South. So, you know, my grandparents would have been kids during the Great Depression. So they grew up not having a lot and hanging on to everything they had, you know. And they just kept that mentality through their adult years too. Mm. They say that some things are genetic, like if you have a problem with alcohol and substances, then that's something to do with the genes, the particular genes that you have, and your kids could inherit those genes, or they could skip a generation or two altogether. I don't know if hoarding disorder is the same way, and it is a disorder. Like people who come in and say, "Oh, just get off your ass and clean. You're being a lazy piece of shit." No, 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 no. Hoarding specifically is a disorder at a certain point. Sometimes you might just be messy. Sometimes the person might just be lazy. But I think 9 times out of 10, when their house starts to get up to the ceiling with stuff and you can't walk, that's hoarding. That's when you don't use the stuff you have, but you just keep buying more stuff. And my mom's real bad about not looking. She'll go to Walmart and just buy crap. Oh, well, we need this. We already had this. You didn't look to see if we were out. And see, it's generational too, because my mom is one of 6 kids, and they grew up very poor and not having much, and my grandparents were alcoholics. Um, so they didn't always do the best at raising their kids. So there were a lot of skipped meals, a lot of fasting, a lot of not having food in the house. So when my mom got married and moved out, uh, my dad worked a 9 to 5 job. He worked 40 hours a week most of my life, and he made good money. He didn't make rich people money, but he made like middle class money. We never went without when I was growing up. So my mom never shifted her mentality to it's okay, I can calm down, we have enough. The damage was done from her childhood, her PTSD and all that, where she lived in a very broken, terrible home as a kid that carried into her adulthood. So she would go to the store and buy too many groceries. She would overfeed us as kids too. Her way of showing love and emotion was always food, 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 food. So we grew up obese, and it's something that we've had to deal with our entire lives. And I think part of it's genetic too. Like I could eat salads for 2 or 3 months and still somehow gain weight. And it's like I've had my thyroid checked. I make it a point to ask the doctor to check everything every time I go. I go to the doctor 2 times a year, and they do a complete blood. They take bloods, they take urine, they take everything. The thyroid's checked, everything's checked, all my organs are checked, kidneys are checked. Everything always comes back fine. So your thyroid is usually what they check if you have some sort of obesity issue that's not tied to food. But all my stuff comes back normal, so it's got to be psychological with me and the food. So that's a whole other thing. But there's some generational demons there where you just have to kind of conquer it. And I'm over 40 now. I'm middle-aged and still have not conquered my problems with food. Although I'm closer now than I've ever been to having a healthy relationship with food. I'm eating healthy every day. I'm cooking my own meals. I'm not eating garbage. No fast food. I'm not snacking on cookies and chips and stuff. I'm cooking myself a dinner, usually whole foods like vegetables and meats. Like this evening, before streaming, I cooked two chicken thighs. They're relatively small, just lightly seasoned them, no butter, no excessive salt, and then a bag of frozen broccoli, that was dinner for me. And I'm doing better now than I ever have. You know, I'm being more responsible now than I ever have. Yeah. And see, that's the thing too. Everybody's always like, well, you know, obesity can be fixed. Um, you just gotta put in the effort. It's not that black and white though. Like, there's usually a lot of mental health problems that go into why somebody's obese. Um, Not to mention the food that we eat is so loaded with sugars and preservatives. Living things weren't meant to eat the way we eat, and our bodies don't handle it well. And modern day life keeps humans so stressed that a lot of times people will stress eat or eat. Like I said, there's just so much like that's an entire conversation that would take 4 or 5 episodes to get into. Just there's a lot to it. And no, hoarding, hoarding, not everybody that not everybody that not everybody that's pointed out to be a hoarder is a hoarder, but hoarding is definitely a mental health issue. It is definitely not just them being lazy. Now, again, there are some people who are just plain out lazy and their house is trash. That's on them. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. That happens. That happens a lot. But I'm specifically referring to hoarding, you know. Like if you were to go to see a psychologist and get a diagnosis, that's the people I'm referring to, you know. And in that situation, all you can really do is have empathy and offer to help. Because a lot of hoarding disorder is driven by trauma in their life. So it definitely needs to be handled gingerly and without judgment. But you have to, I guess you kind of have to know what you're looking for, because you can't just write somebody off as a hoarder when they're really just lazy at the end of the day. Because I will chastise a lazy person. I will not chastise a hoarder. You know what I mean? A hoarder can't help it. A lazy person can help it. They're just being lazy. See, this looks dirty to me, but the game's not telling me that's dirt. It's telling me that's shadow, I guess. That is messing with my mind, man. It's messing with my mind. Okay. I gotta move you. Oh, I already cleaned that spot. Okay. Mm-hmm. A lot of times people's homes may be dirty just because they just don't have the energy after like getting up early, getting their kids ready for school, going off to work themselves, working a full day, coming home, tending to the kids' needs at the end of the day. Some people are just too dead. Some people are overworked and just too dead. And those are definitely not the people I'm, you know, talking about. But yeah, I agree. Obesity can be helped 99% of the time. You just make some life changes, you know, change your diet and your exercise routines, and you should be good to go. But there are cases where severe mental health issues will drive obesity, and that can be hard to handle. And that's my case. Like, I have mental health problems that's driving my obesity, so. But I'm working on it. The sucky thing is I'm just working on it by myself because I don't have access to health care, you know. Damn it. Listen, you. I need you to go right here. Now, how am I supposed to get this clean? Oh. Okay. Where are you pointing to dirt? Oh. Really? Huh, there's dirt on this trim. I'm not seeing any more dirt. There it is. There's dirt along the roof. Do I want to do this via ladder or do I want to do this via this doohickey? You know. Oh God. It sounds heavier than the first game. You're gonna let me put this anywhere sensible, are you? It sounds beefier. No, I can't reach from here. It sounds so intense. There we go. Now I can reach you. Now I gotta move it. Right over now. The dirt's on the corner, so I need you to be catting. Oh. Down. Okay. That was simple. These bad boys are in my way. I have more tools than I had the first time I was doing this job, which is great. Oh, now how am I going to fit you in here? Yeah. Okay. I need to be in front of the house with you. Well, this is troubling. Okay. Trees in the way. Well, one more. Can I do it from the ladder? I can. Sweet. Oh, I just flat out didn't bother going all the way up here. Okay. Derpty derp da derp da derp. Okay. Oh. Is this wall here? Yep. I see tiny little green spots. Ha ha! The glass was the last holdout. Bully for me! I can see why Harper recommended you. Spotless house. Reduced to 0. All I need is to find out what Karen's up to. I don't know who you people are, but good luck with that. Okay, how do I get out of this? Oh, click continue, Eric. Duh. Car time. The classic from back in the day, driving me nuts about the car with the husband's steering wheel, haunted steering wheel. I remember driving Miss Daisy. I remember that Stephen King truck movie. I remember Vigilante 8. I remember Crazy Taxi. I remember Gone in 60 Seconds. I remember, what was that Dune Buggy one? The movie about the Volkswagen Beetle? I can't remember the name of it. Remember a lot of different things. We'll start from the top. So this car was used in the movie, huh? Fast and the Furious. What other famous car movies can we think of? Obviously, there was the DeLorean in Back to the Future. There's tons of movie cars. There's the Ecto one in Ghostbusters, the Jurassic Park Jeep and Explorer. Christine. Christine is a good book and movie about the haunted car. I don't know if it's haunted as much as it's just evil, maybe? It's hard to explain Christine if you've never read it. There's a Dukes of the Hazzard car, but there's Knight Rider. Kit from Knight Rider. What else? There's that Dogmobile from Dumb and Dumber. You're back. Oh, I didn't know you went anywhere. We're trying to think of famous movie cars, and I've already named a bunch. Herbie, that was the name of that Volkswagen. Couldn't remember the name of. What are we talking about? Famous cars, movie cars, and I've already named a bunch. You gotta help me come up with some I might have missed. I said Stephen King had two. He had the 18-wheelers that killed you, that drove themselves. That was crazy. He had Christine. There's the Back to the Future DeLorean. There's the giant dog mobile from Dumb and Dumber. There's the Ecto One from Ghostbusters. The Jurassic Park vehicles, the Explorer, the Jeep. The Gone in 60 Seconds movie. The Fast and Furious movies. The Mystery Machine. Yep, that's a good one. Scooby-Doo. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Has the dumb. That's like one of the most famous. Mystery Machine. That is a cool fan. What else? What else can we think of? Homer Simpson built that car that time for his brother's company that bankrupted the company. I said the car from Knight Rider. Kit, I think, was the car's name, unless that was the human character's name. Yeah, the DeLorean time machine. We got that one. What else we got? There's the train time machine in the third one. Oh my God. Lightning McQueen. Yep. Whole movie called Cars that I just didn't even think of. The Flintstones cars are pretty iconic. The Jetsons flying, hovering machines. What else we got? Would you count the vehicles from Twisted Metal? Because Twisted Metal was a video game before they made it into a show. If you count that. The Beverly Hillbillies had a pretty famous, like, old-timey car. I don't remember if the Munsters had a car that was iconic. I think they did. But I may be thinking of the Addams Family, but no, I think the Munsters had that hot rod car. That was pretty famous. What else? I know there's going to be a lot of, there's a lot that I don't know. Going to be a lot of cars that people are screaming at me when they're watching this. You forgot about this? You forgot about this? I know. I know. National Lampoon's Family Vacation. They had that. There's the famous, what do you call those cars? Why can't I think of that? The grocery getter. The hell do you call that car? Why I can't think of the name of that car. Is it a Winnebago? Is that the name of that thing? No, that's one of those RV type. Why can't I think of the name of that car? Yeah, you can say it if you can remember it. Please tell me. I'm having the worst brain fart here. The Batmobile. Of course, the Batmobile. Why didn't I think of that? That's a super famous car. Absolutely the Batmobile. This job turned out a lot harder than I thought because it's being very particular about the dirt not coming off after I rinse it. It has cars and SpongeBob at the bottom of the ocean. That's odd. Ah, the sun! I'm starting to think, had I soaked this down first, it might have come cleaner, easier. Yeah, the Ghostbuster car. They had two versions of it. Both movies kind of had their own versions, but yes, Ghostbuster car. I Googled it to see if there was an achievement for petting the cat in every stage, and Google said there's not, but I'm going to do it anyway. It'll be a personal achievement. Because she's coming with us on every job, and then like one or two of the kittens also comes with us. Bubbles. I guess each one of her kittens has a name, too. Well, I mean, obviously, duh, but you know what I mean. Like, they put it in here. This is going to shock you. I have not seen the original Karate Kid movies. I know that I should have seen them, given how old I am and what era I grew up in, but I haven't seen them. I did see the remake. I thought the remake was okay. It wasn't really it wasn't memorable, but I didn't think it was bad. I don't know. I probably should watch them. Like, I didn't watch the Rocky movies until I was in my 30s. Like, I just never got around to it. No real reason why. Just, I never bought them on DVD or anything back in the day, and I didn't catch them on TV, and it came out before I was born, so I can go to the theater and see them, you know. I don't know. I know they did the show that's a follow-up to the movies with all the same actors and, well, living actors, I guess, at this point. I haven't seen that either. I should. How did I miss that so badly? Okay. What? There's still dirt up there? No way. And I missed dirt on the mirror? How? How? How did you escape my cleaning wrath? I'm Mr. Clean. You cannot escape my cleaning ability. Dirt cannot escape forever. It started right up. The Bluesmobile, even though I've never seen the Blues Brothers, I'm to understand that their car is pretty popular. You haven't seen Cobra Kai? I've heard it's good. It's not great, but it's good. when I do go down the rabbit hole of getting around to watching the Karate Kid movies, I'll probably go ahead and finish and watch Cobra Kai. It's like Evil Dead. I didn't watch Evil Dead growing up. It's just not something I had access to. So anytime I ever heard somebody talk about Ash and the Evil Dead, I was always so confused as to why everybody loved it so much. Then at some point I sat down and watched the Evil Dead 2. I watched Evil Dead and thought it was meh. And then of course Evil Dead 2 is a complete remake by the same, director and cast and everything. They literally just copied and pasted the first movie because they had better filmmaking skills and more money and everything. So 1 and 2 are kind of the same movie. It's kind of like Earthbound. Earthbound came out on the NES, but not a lot of people know about that unless you're a gamer. Then you have Earthbound or Mother 2 on the SNES, and that's the one that was more popular because even though it was kind of the same game, it was better all around, more complete, just more complete. So when it comes to things like they did the Ash Evil Dead show, I watched 1 or 2 episodes and thought, well, I kind of need to see the movies to kind of. It just feels like I missed that ship. You ever, and I'm speaking to everybody about this one, not just chat, but a lot of times in my life, there'll be something that's really popular and I never got into it in its heyday. Either I wasn't born yet or it wasn't my thing, or for whatever reason, I didn't get into it. And then years later, I get into it, I decide to watch the movie or play the game or whatever. And I just feel like I missed out. All the conversations I could have had with people if I had seen the thing or played the thing. And that's the kind of the way it was with the Evil Dead with me. I watched Evil Dead and then I watched Evil Dead 3 and I didn't like Evil Dead 3. And that's like a hot take because people love that movie and I just didn't like it. And then now they're doing Evil Dead movies that have no connection to Ash whatsoever. And they're just Evil Dead movies in name alone. They have nothing to do with the original idea and concept of that series. And I kind of wonder if that's kind of where we're headed with entertainment, because you have the Cobra Kai series now and they're doing that more often, where you're having shows based on old movies that nobody's ever seen. Because like the Bill and Ted movies that came out in the 80s were super popular. Then they did this early 90s Bill and Ted show without Keanu Reeves and the other guy, I forget his name, and it sucked. And everybody hated it. And they tried to bury it and pretend they never made it. And then like 40 years later, they made a new Bill and Ted movie and it wasn't really as good. Keanu Reeves was terrible in it, but it's not because he's a terrible actor. It's just he's too old to play that character, I'm quite afraid. The only Ash you know is Ash Ketchum. Well, there's Ash from the Evil Dead, and that's a really good character. I like the character of Ash from Evil Dead. I don't know his last name. Let's see. It appears this is going in the woods because the new mayor. We have a new mayor. Watch it. Should build more 3 feet above the interstate. Is all in the city. We got a new mayor. Must confess, still harboring grave concerns as to your character, but I remain committed to your what? You're missing not just like the town signs. The hell did I do? I don't like people like this. That's one of my least favorite personality types. People who are just like very blunt about, I don't like you. Fuck off. How can you not like me? I'm great. Actually, a lot of times I get sick of my own self. That's just rude. You don't even know me and you're going to question my character. That's just not something you say. That's rude, dude. Oh, snap. Snow-covered mountains. Oh, no. Does all of this count? Oh, this part counts too. which is going to make washing this part a pain in the ass. Love that for me. Ooh, that's a pretty blue, though. I love the fact that she's accompanying me on every mission. Well, job. I guess we should say job. Ping, ping. You know what? I can reach further up than I thought. This might not be as big a problem. My thing is, I didn't want to have to fight with the scaffolding just to get this part done. What would you say is your favorite character of all time? Not franchise, not game, not series, but like specifically character. It could be from anything. Well, it needs to be a fictitious character. You can't just say, oh no, Abraham Lincoln. Too many. Yes, that's what I was sitting here thinking too. Like, you're going to ask chat that and you're not going to answer it yourself. I was sitting here trying to think, who would I say is my favorite character of all time? I don't know that I can choose. I couldn't even sit here and tell you every character I know. We know too many characters. Like, between every form of media that exists, every book, every show, every movie, every game that we've ever consumed, I don't know. That's the stupid question. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of what's your favorite blank questions. I don't know. I don't know what my favorite food is, color, time of day, song, movie. I don't fucking know. I mean, Jurassic Park, I guess, as far as movies are concerned, but hell, outside of that, I don't know. High pitch buzz. High pitch buzz. Ooh. All right, my first order of business is get the orange hole done completely first. That's why I also don't like who would win in a fight questions, because the answer is only ever going to boil down to who that person likes more as a character. It's never going to be unbiased and fair. Never. What's your favorite game franchise? Probably Pokemon. Uh, Sometimes it can bounce around between like Metroid and Pokemon. The Portal games are extremely important to me. I don't know. Like, if you were to ask me what my favorite game is of all time, I would say Metroid Prime, hands down. Metroid Prime and Portal kind of are my top two games of all time. But as far as franchises and series go, or you said game franchise, Pokemon. I've got more mileage out of Pokemon than I have any other series. You know what I mean? And it's ongoing. Like, yeah, I don't play Pokemon Go anymore, but I still have, you know, Gen 10. Oh, by the way, I'm glad you're here and I'm glad this come up in conversation. Guess what Tyler sent me last night? Somebody out there in the world took the old Pokemon games like Red, Blue, Yellow, and everything, and they made a program that converts them into 3D, like full 3D. And I don't mean first person view. I mean the way that, like, I don't know how to explain it. But I've decided that we're going to play Pokemon Yellow that way. And maybe Pokemon, maybe Silver. I don't know. I don't know. I'll see if I can get him to post it in the Discord and show it to you. It is really cool. Really, really cool. I also am going to be doing the same thing this November when my channel rolls over from year 9 to year 10. You know, I play Metroid every November for the start of a new year on my channel. Well, this year we've run out of Metroid games to play. I mean, hell, we've even played AM2R, which is non-official. So we've done everything. We covered the manga that came out back when Metroid Prime was released in 2001, I think, was when the manga came out. So we've done everything Metroid I could think to do. But there's a program / game you can get on Steam that 3Difies all your ROMs. So we're going to play Metroid, the NES version, in 3D. It's going to be really cool. I think it's going to look cool. I'm really excited about it. We were going to do more Resident Evil yesterday, but Tyler was, he had a rough day. Work kind of kicked his ass. He just wasn't feeling it. He had to do some, like, you know, he had to take care of himself when he got home and, like, just breathe. And he's like, do you mind if we put it off to next week? I'm like, do you even have to ask? If you need to, then that's what we're doing. I also went ahead and bought Resident Evil 6 in Steam while it was on sale. So we'll probably play 6 as soon as we're done with 5. I love a good co-op game. Don't get me wrong. I think the problem that we've had on this channel, as far as co-op games are concerned, Tyler and I have only been playing these, what they call friend slot games. Well, that's the derogatory term for them. I forgot what they're called, like the category's called. But we've been trying to play things like Peak, and I haven't played Among Us, but I wanted to play it. Then what was the other one? Lethal Company. That stuff really doesn't work for us. Tyler and I need to go back and play some co-op games of actual video games from our heyday that's not considered friend slot. And that's what we're doing with Resident Evil 5 and 6. And we'll probably start playing stuff like that more often, you know, really getting into roll our sleeves up and get into some real good co-op stuff. because the friend slop stuff just isn't working. Because those games work if you have more than just two people. When it's just two people, not really working out. Although Tyler and Tiff's friends, they have another friend or married couple that they're friends with. They play video games a lot, and they've been playing on my Minecraft world in the Lasanovia, and they're building their own little mansions out there beside the island, and they're real good people. They've the few times that I've hung out with them in Discord chat and we played Minecraft, we've had some good conversations. So, you know, it might be that down the line we might be able to play something with them. I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking about taking your idea the other day. You've been asking me a few times lately if I had any interest in playing Minecraft like a hard mode or anything to do a challenge, and I said not really. Well, now I'm thinking about it. Now I'm actually considering it. Because I don't know, I don't think you were around for the stream I did the other day. And you might not have watched the episode I put up this morning. But the Lasanovia kind of had its grand finale today. I mean, I will be back on the Lasanovia. I'm not done streaming that world forever. But it is officially on hiatus now. And I'm thinking about maybe doing a new Minecraft world where I play like on hard mode or something. That way we can laugh as I die a lot. I don't know. It's all up in the air at the moment. I'm working on some ideas. Did you hit them up with your friends and play with? Well, that's what I'm doing. Like, I added them on Discord and I added them on my Microsoft account for Minecraft. It would be great if we could get some Mario Party in there. That would be great. Of course, I'd be willing to play Mario Party with you and anybody else in the Discord server that was willing to. I won't have anybody on voice, you know, to talk, but we could still play, you know. It's the only way I'm ever going to get to do the Mario Party games. Okay. This cleaned up faster than I thought it would over here on this side. Do you beat Minecraft hardcore? I don't know how long that would take. Because you have to, you know, what does it take to roll the credits on Minecraft? Did you have to defeat the Ender Dragon or was it something else? I can't remember. There's something specific you have to do to roll the credits in Minecraft. What was it? You'll have to remind me. I don't remember. That would be a hell of a stream, but it would take, it'd be a 24-hour stream or something, wouldn't it? It feels impossible. Defeat the Ender Dragon and jump into the portal. Ah, that's right. That's right. I assume, because I don't remember. Do you get the credits every time you do that? I don't recall. Tell you the part that scares me is that we're only at the 21% mark, and we've cleaned this entire underside. Just about. I'm scared. See, can I just use... Yeah, there we go. So that might be something to do. I might try the hardcore thing. What exactly is hardcore about it? Like, I know the enemies obviously would have more health and stuff, but like, are they just more aggressive? Are there more of them? Do they spawn more frequently? Are they faster? Does it require more items to craft stuff? Like, how does hardcore difficulty work in Minecraft exactly? I'm willing to give it a shot. Hardcore's just hard mode, but when you die, you can't respawn. You gotta create your... Oh. Oh. Okay. Now, is that self-imposed, or is that actually a thing in the game I can choose? Because that would be funny. I hear some sort of animal. Can I actually get this closer? Maybe just a smidge. Oh, wow. I can. No way that ladder's finished. It's an actual game mode? Well, hot damn. We'll have to try that out. Walk around here. Well, damn. Look at that. We got the entire ladder and orange pole thing. Ooh. Oof. Yeah, now I see why it was only at 20%. Don't let me fall. Well, I guess there's not really any punishment for falling in this game, though. Now, hold on. Can I actually close? I can. Which will allow me to do this. Satisfaction. What is actually on this billboard? Guess we'll find out. I think the ground is, and I've said this at every time we do this, but the ground is the most tedious part, I think. Try to do it as quickly as I can. Well, I guess it's a floor, not a ground. Shoe prints. Now, don't forget, next month I have that big trip coming up. We're going to the Field Museum in Chicago, which is on my bucket list. And is a childhood dream of mine to go there. But they also have the dinosaur fossil exhibit. And that's like at the end of next month, the end of August. And yes, I'm going to make a vlog out of it. And I have bought new equipment. I don't have it over here with me, but I bought new equipment. I bought a gimbal for my cell phone, and I bought a lav mic to go on my shirt or whatever so that you can actually hear me in good quality. So that's 2 pieces of equipment I purchased for this trip, so that I can vlog decently. Oh boy. This part, am I right? I don't know. I really love doing the power washing, but something about just doing the floor and the ground parts, I don't like as much. I don't know. I guess it wouldn't bother me if I weren't streaming it, but knowing that people are watching, you know, kind of makes me feel like I need to rush the ground part. What is that? I have been thinking about marathons. We should do a marathon one day. I've played around with other concepts, you know, that are pretty popular. Like when we were doing the Patreon stuff, we were trying to, the Nuzlocke thing for Pokemon. I've done a few speed runs on the channel. I don't know. I'm open, like I said, I'm open to ideas and concepts, and I definitely would like to branch out and start doing some other things here and there too. It's just doing all these straight up Let's Plays takes so much time. But I think we could probably squeeze it in. I've never done a marathon. I would like to. I don't know what's the longest I've ever streamed. I know that back in the day when Tyler and I were working through the original Halo games, I think the longest I can remember is 5 hours, maybe, with standard bathroom breaks and stuff. Maybe going to get a drink or something. I remember that. But an actual, factual, legitimate, like, marathon? No, I don't think I've ever done one. As a matter of fact, I know I haven't. I don't know why I said I don't think. I had thought about a couple of years ago doing a Metroid marathon where maybe I play through all of the games, but that wouldn't be all in one sitting. That wouldn't be all in one stream. What I would do is play as much of each game as I could in each stream. Like I would start with Zero Mission or the NES version or whatever. And then I would play through that. And then after we got through, I would immediately just move to the next game and kind of do like a replay of all of them. But I don't know. The way that I designed my YouTube channel, it was the way that I've always done my episodes. They're done to be timeless so that you can watch them literally any year without having to go back and play anything. We don't want to necessarily. That's the way that I've always done my YouTube is, you know, focused on what is this? I don't know what this is. Oh, snap. Okay. I have fancy equipment. Like while you sleep, you mute your mic and have a YouTube video playing or something to wake you up. Yeah, see, I don't feel comfortable doing that level of like streaming. I don't want to sleep on the stream. I've considered it, but I've decided against it. That would be something we could do for kicks and giggles if I had a big enough audience. You know what I mean? I think my current audience is like 3 people. I don't know. I don't ever really get any feedback on my videos. Honestly, I think you and Lewis are the only people who really ever leave comments. Of course, every once in a while I get a random comment from somebody, but mostly I think you and Lewis might be the only people who will like leave a comment if I ask. Which apparently that's, you know, the more people comment, the more the algorithm is likely to recommend my stuff. But I used to think that the algorithm wasn't recommending my stuff, but I think that it is. I think the algorithm has never been a problem. I think the algorithm has always recommended my stuff. I think my issue is that I'm just not the right type of content for this day and age. I think people want quick, witty, like, how do I explain it? I think people want every other YouTube video they've ever seen. I think they want quick jumps, quick edits, jump cuts. I think they want all that stuff. I think they want pranks and on top of pranks. Meme videos are really popular. I watch those myself. I don't know. I feel like I'm an acquired taste. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I would have had to have get in on the ground floor like 15 plus years ago, if not 20 years ago. Hell, how old is YouTube? Was 2007? Wow, hold up. 2007 to 17 is 10 years, and to 2027 is 20 years. YouTube will be 20 years old next year. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's crazy. So I joined on YouTube at the halfway point, basically. I jumped on board in 2017 when YouTube was at 10 years old. Huh. Oh no, this is gonna be annoying. How do I rotate the knob? There we go. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Summit 1G. 2012. 9% of his audience is like 30 years old. They've been watching him since they were. Yeah, that's see, that's a phenomenon too. That's really neat. Like YouTube's been around long enough to where you could have grown up with a YouTuber. You know what I mean? Like maybe you were a little kid when you started watching whomever, and now you're all grown. That is really cool. That is really neat. You know? Gosh. It is such a cliche, but it is so true. Like the older you get, the faster time speeds up. Each decade is quicker. You experience it quicker than you experience the last. Like my 30s went by in a blink of an eye, and my 40s are starting to do the same. Like being 20 seems like a whole different lifetime ago. Oh no, I forgot about this. Oh man. So is this a ladder too? It is. Okay. Got your show ladder. Mr. Monarch. Because when they ask people who are in their 80s and 90s, like, you know, what are your experiences? And they're like, time just flew by. I was in my 30s, you know, having kids and paying on my mortgage, and now I'm 92. I don't know where the time went. YouTube was 10 years old in 2015. Wait, did YouTube come out in 2005? I thought it came out in 2007 for some reason. I don't know why I thought that. Okay. So I was off by a few years. Wow, 2005. So that means YouTube is over 20 years old now. That means it's 21 years old. Hey, YouTube's old enough to drink in the States. I did not say get inside that thing. You leave me alone. $2005. What the hell was I even doing in 2005? I don't even remember what I was doing in 2005. That's how far back my photo albums go, though. Well, I have pictures from back then. I guess I was just hanging out, playing video games. Being a stoner without the weed. That's a funny thing. I think I spent most of my 20s being a stoner, but just without the weed. I lived exactly like a stoner would live. Okay, the lights are only on that one side. See, that's good because less to have to worry about from out here. Oh, this is going to be great. The outside part. Fun. I guess I got to move this. Ah! Also, is the game too low? How's the game audio? I have a hard time anymore getting it right. Like, it felt way too loud earlier. Go down the floor. It's good? Okay. Now, when I first started earlier, it felt a little loud, so I turned it down a little bit. Ring. Ah! See. I'll need you to be on this side now, buddy, oh pal, friendo. Boom. All right. Okay, maybe this won't be as hard to clean on this side as I thought. Yeah, okay. Okay. Ugh. I can't reach that tiny little bit over there. Okay. Wait, no. Let me rotate the nozzle. That way I can just do this here. Boom. Ping pong. Ooh, I'm on the edge. And didn't even realize it. I'll have to move it again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Oh, shit. See, that's the short one. All right, let me move the short one out of my way. And bring in the big boy. have to be beside it, though. You know what? It might not fit. Is that? I think I could kind of make that work. Get another alert. Oh, the missing child. You could turn that off. I turn that shit off on my phone. I don't leave the house enough to see any missing kids. I leave the weather ones turned on, but I have all the other ones turned off. I think the only one you can't turn off is like the presidential alerts, which I get it. You probably shouldn't be able to turn that one off in case there's some sort of like global emergency or national emergency. You kind of want to be, you probably know about that. Like, hey, you're getting bombed. Or, hey, you're being attacked by X. Yeah. Of course, living in the States, we kind of don't really have to worry about that, but because we're a stupid country. We spend more on our military than the 5 next leading nations combined, half of which of those are, more than half of those are our allies. Yeah. Yeah, presidential alerts are like if the president ever needed to alert every citizen, like aliens are attacking, we're being nuked, there's been some sort of massive chemical explosion, something where you would need to tell the entire population of the United States all at once, you would get a presidential alert on your phone. It's the same as your Amber alerts or your weather alerts. I think it's the one that can't be turned off. It's like you can go in your phone and turn Amber alerts off, you can turn weather alerts off as far as I know. It might vary from phone to phone. It might vary between Apple and Android. I don't know. I've never had Apple, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah, thankfully, I don't think we've ever had a presidential alert. I think it's something that exists, but's never been used because nobody's dumb enough to fuck with the U.S. I mean, politics aside and how we feel about any given thing aside, you would have to be stupid to attack the United States. Damn it, it doesn't reach. It does not reach as far as I want it to. Alright, I'll move it. Yeah, that's really all you can do. If you get an alert on your phone that says a nuke is coming, like what are you supposed to do? Get on a boat and move? You hop on a plane? No. No planes launching with a nuclear attack incoming. You're fucked. Remember in the 50s when they were teaching everybody duck and cover? And the funny thing is, people thought that was good enough. Actually, I say that. I think people knew. I kind of think the general public was smart enough to know that duck and cover was like just their way of not acknowledging how fucked you were if there was a nuke incoming. I think it was just fear. They didn't want to admit that you were boned, you know? Duck and cover. What do they do in schools now other than fire drills? I remember we had fire drills and I think we had tornado drills. And I think those are the only 2 drills we had when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, school shootings hadn't become a thing yet. And I was born after the nuclear scare. I was born in the Cold War, during the Cold War. So while there was the threat of nuclear annihilation, it never really came to that. We got close. Terrifyingly close. But thankfully it didn't happen. Oh shit, I still see dirt. God damn it. Son of a bitch. I was watching this YouTube video the other day. It was about movies, but they were talking about how you can't really cuss at all anymore on YouTube, and it's become so like gentrified, not gentrified, that's the wrong word, but like almost G-rated to where if you want to monetize your channel, you can't say anything. Like it's gotten to the point to where people are just fed up with being on YouTube. They still duck and drill. Well, ducking and covering in a tornado drill might actually help. I mean, if the building's going to come down, it doesn't always just come down in one flat leveling. You could theoretically survive a tornado with minimal building damage. So ducking and covering for a tornado warning, that one I can see being legitimate. But ducking and covering for, like, I don't know, a nuclear weapon, yeah, you're dead. Ducking and covering ain't do shit. So they still have you guys line up in the hallways. Yeah, they had us do that too. Fire drills, lockdown drills. We didn't have the lockdown drills. That's new to your generation. We never had gas leaks. I don't think my school had gas. We were all electric, which grows so sometimes he cusses like a sailor. Well, Moist Critical is also Moist Critical, and he also has the right people to get in touch with at YouTube if anything goes wrong with his stuff. That's something that they're not telling you. Like these people like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Charlie, they're an exception to the rule. They can say suicide, ballsack, murder, death. They can say anything they want, and their shit will stay monetized because they make YouTube or Google or Alphabet, however you want to look at it, an ungodly amount of money. So YouTube's not going to dare touch their shit. Yeah. Did I just fuck myself? Because I closed that lid before coming back. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Because, like, if I have a problem on my YouTube channel, there's nothing I can do but talk to a bot. I can try and send an email and hope the AI helps me. If Charlie or Markiplier have a problem with their channel, 2 seconds and they have humans on the horn that can help them. It's really not fair at the end of the day, but at the same time, like, I get it because YouTube is vast and you just can't, it just physically can't be done. There's not enough humans on the planet to, like, work YouTube that way. You know what I mean? How do I, there we go. All right, let's start cleaning this bad boy. Let's use the green one. And sometimes YouTube will send me a, sometimes when I go to the back end on YouTube Studio, there'll be a little thing at the top that says, we want your opinion. Could you take a moment to take a survey? And it'll ask me how I feel about making content on YouTube today. Do I feel it was easy to make content? Do I feel that the algorithm pushes my stuff to people? Do I feel like I'm being seen? Do I feel like I'm being heard? Do I feel like this, and this? And I'm always like, no, not really. No, not really. No, not really. Complete a wash task while, abseiling. Okay. Oh, are these letters raised off of the board? And I'm gonna have to wash them between the cracks. It's for there's like an outside gas toxin. Oh, okay. These are emergencies and fine. Ah, yeah. Yeah, we didn't have those. And it could have just been a regional thing. Maybe my region was just crap, but we only ever had tornado and fire. That was all they gave us. Oh, I can use this the same way. Okay. Cool. What the? Okay, so it will just drop me if I go up too high. Well, that's not great. This billboard took a lot longer than I thought it would. I thought this was going to be a quick job. Nope. Nope. You remember recently last week, school was sitting in saying heard finals. Oh, I had to read that twice. I thought you said last week, and I was like, what do you mean last week? You meant last week that you were there. I was like, I think you've been on summer break. Ah, it only swings so far over, too. That's okay. I can make this work. Work a hell of a lot easier if I were doing it this way. Or use the right nozzle. No, don't fall. Neighborhood right across the street, there was some sort of guy with a weapon. Oh my god. You attacked the cops? Escape. Ooh. Escape convict. Convict. I remember when I was a kid, we have a prison not too far from where I live. And every once in a blue moon, they'd have somebody get out. And they would alert the general public. And I remember my parents were always super paranoid that out of all the hundreds of houses, we were just going to be the one they chose. And I remember my dad, even though all the windows have locks on them, I remember he nailed our window shut. It's all about being paranoid. A little doohickey. Is that a little turtle? Is that a frog? What are you? Some sort of lizard? Wait, there's a cat, a bunny, a goat, a duck, horse, a turkey. Jeff Jefferson. That's 10, 11, 12, 13. The 13th? Jeff Jefferson, the 13th town of the year. An owl. Is that supposed to be a... It's going to say sheep. That tail's too long for sheep. So like a poodle of some sort. A raccoon. A peacock. Now, I'm not going to be just running around doing the mayor's stuff, am I? I don't really respect any politicians enough to be doing that. They're like at the bottom of my respective list. Okay. At least you got to sit there and watch the rescue helicopter. Ooh. Well, they put on a show for you guys. Wow, look at this. You weren't in any danger. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like you could have just kept working right along and it would have been fine. It was more along the lines that they knew you guys were going to be distracted and they probably don't have a way to close those windows off. They knew it was better to wait. That'd be my logic anyway. If all that's happening right outside the window and everybody can see it, they're just going to sit and watch out the window. Nobody's going to pay attention. I know I wouldn't. Of course, I have ADD. I had a hard time paying attention in the first place. I struggled with that my whole life. That's what makes reading books really difficult for me. I try and I try and I try. Even when I try to audio books, it's like I have to really sit there and hone in and focus. And very difficult for me to do. I also forgot I had this whole other damn side to do. I'm going to sit here and cry. Oh my god, and the bottom. And the bottom. I fell. I hear something. I have to pee like a mother runner. I had a big old thing of tea, and then I had my Diet Dr. Pepper with dinner. Let me double check these rails before we do anything else. And fuck it. I tell you what, you remember when I did that? Were you here the other morning when I did that Pokemon stream? Like, it was before noon. It was in the AM. And we had like two little kids come in, like kids, like maybe 10 and under. I didn't like that. I mean, no offense to them, but like you're a kid to me, like you're a teenager, right? But you probably hear worse than anything I'm going to say at school every day. So I don't really worry about cussing in front of people like your age and up. But like YouTube shouldn't be recommending my streams and videos to like children. And I got the vibe that that guy in chat the other day was like a kid, you know what I mean? That made me uncomfy because I felt like I couldn't cuss. Although I guess at the end of the day, it's kind of not my responsibility to, I'm not a babysitter, you know? I don't know. And I'm pretty confident that you're going to hear 10 times worse than anything I'm ever going to say because I remember what it was like being your age in school. And they said shit that I can't even say on YouTube anymore. Like, if I were to repeat what we were saying in school, my channel would be deleted. And I did it too. I'm not an exception to the rule. You know, I'm just like everybody else. I said the same cuss words. I said the same slurs. I said all the stuff you're not supposed to say. I will say I at least never used the N-word. I never used that. But we did say a lot of other stuff that was okay by like early 2000s, late 90s standards, but I don't know. Oh no, not charge battery. My earbud told me to charge battery. Oh no. Haven't even had these in that long. This is bull. Actually, you know what? Nah, I've had them in about 7 hours. That's not bad. I'll let that slide. When I first bought these a year ago or so, I think they would leave. I think they had about a good 16-hour charge. So in about a year, they've only depleted about half. Well, 16 would be half, but we'll just say half. The funny thing is, I went to buy this exact same pair of earbuds. I bought these through the Best Buy app and had them shipped to me instead of just going to the store because I'm lazy. And I must have got a deal on them because I paid $20 and bought two pairs. They've gone up in price. It's like $26 for a pair of these now. So I don't know what happened. How do I unequip this thing? Press E, I think. No, I need you to put me down. Put me down. Come here. Not worried about the hatch. I need the doohickey. Okay. I don't know how to get it back. Pick up. Aha! Hot damn, there we go. There we go. Like creative mode in Minecraft. All right, we're going to zoom through the rest of this and call it a day. How about that? That's 3 completed jobs in one episode. Granted, most of the first job had already been completed, but still, I think that's a record. Over 2 hours worth of stream, 3 jobs. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, I haven't looked into it, but I naturally assume that since this game, or since it's like a sequel, it should have like more. It would be my logic, you know, that it would have more maps than the first one. I don't know if that's true. I'm just making that up in my head because that's what feels right. What's funny is I don't think I knew any other racial slurs other than the N-word when I was a little kid. Most of the racial slurs I've ever learned have been thanks to the internet. Because I just didn't grow up around that kind of environment. Like, I didn't have family that used, slurs. I didn't have friends that used slurs. I just didn't grow up around that kind of behavior. So when the internet came out, I was like, oh my God. And that's kind of the sucky thing too, is I didn't know there was so much like hate in the world until the internet came along, which sucks. I really didn't. I was ignorant, you know. I mean, I knew there were hateful, evil, bigoted people, but I didn't know just how many existed until the internet. Sad. I was going to say, how is this bracket not clean? You're going to have to hurry up. I got to go pee. Where? Where's there dirt left? Come here, dirt. I'm going to get you. Where's there dirt left? It's telling me down at the bottom. Well, I got to finish this first. Nice to know I can kind of just do the hops. Let's all do the hop. Let's all do the hop. Let's all do the hop. I ain't doing that empty bottle shit. What kind of degenerate do you think I am? I've never peed in a bottle in my room in my life, and I ain't starting today. That is gross. That is some real degenerate shit right there. Have I done it in the car? Well, that's a different discussion. I wouldn't do it in the car now, but I have done it in the car. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't make a habit out of it. I've done it once or twice. But goddamn it, gross. Like that's part of like the gaming culture that I am not a big fan of. The guys who don't take a bath, who have poor hygiene, who pee in a bottle because they're in the middle of some sort of campaign and they can't be bothered to get up and go pee. Fucking I don't know why I don't have a girlfriend. Really? That big of a mystery for you, huh? This is a very hard to spot. There we go. Yeah, I was thinking about the World of Warcraft people. Oh, I missed this whole side over here. Why is this doohickey so hard to clean? For one, it won't let me move over while I'm on this. So I gotta jump down and come up the other side now. Kind of do it that way. Wow. Okay. Where? You would be, wouldn't you? Okay, now where? I'm afraid a coyote is going to get Ulysses. Damn it. It just sounds so intense. I know I say that every time we move it, but damn it, it's startling every time. Okay. Oh, it's going to be right on the edge, isn't it? Yeah. Yep. All right. Oh, I'm not over far enough. All right. Okay. All right. I might have went too far. Is it the... It was the rail. Okay. Oh, bam! Three jobs in one day. Oh, it doesn't show me standing on the platforms, though. It just has me standing in midair. I'm sure we're both more than happy to forget everything that has happened and forge an incredible future together, side by side. Well, not side by side. I'll be in front and above. Yeah, see? Douchebag politician. If I had to budget, would I start my own film studio? Probably not. When I was a kid, I wanted to, I like the idea of maybe doing something with movies or TV, more TV than anything. I've always wanted to be on TV my entire life. Then when I was in my early teens, Tyler was so into video games more than anything else. He didn't really watch TV. He didn't watch a lot of movies. He was the video game guy. And I really didn't have any hopes and dreams of my own. I know that's kind of sad to say, but I really didn't. So I kind of globbed onto his for years. So throughout our entire teens and early 20s, we talked about opening a game studio. And that was like before the internet became what it is today, before smartphones, before any of that. So we were talking about opening one in the classic sense of like opening a brick and mortar building somewhere and setting up computers and having employees and doing all of that. Because back then you couldn't just sit down at a computer and make your own video game unless you were Bill Gates or somebody. Um, and then I came to the realization that that was more his thing and not so much my thing. So I started thinking, well, I want to do something with movies. Let me start working on movies. So I got myself a little camcorder and I was trying to make little movies and stuff, but I couldn't get anybody to help me. Nobody was interested. And I didn't have any friends outside of Tyler. So asking my cousins for help wasn't really working. So I kind of abandoned that as quickly as I started it. And then after that, I kind of gave up hope on anything creative because I can't draw, I can't paint, I can't play instruments to make music. So I knew that my hope of doing anything remotely creative was just out the window. I might as well just give up. Then years later, more years later than is fair to me, um, my buddy who was staying here at the time, so my roommate, um, introduced me to YouTube. And it had been around for a while. It wasn't like YouTube was new. Again, this was 2013, 2014, 2015. YouTube was approaching that decade point. And he was showing me Let's Plays. We were watching Game Grumps every night when he came home from work. Um, and that's when I thought, I could do that. It's just two idiots sitting around telling jokes and goofing off. The problem was I was one half of the idiots and I couldn't get anybody else to do YouTube with me. So I ended up playing around and making some YouTube videos in 2016. And I kept thinking, this is lame. The only way this is going to work is if I do the Game Grumps formula where we're kind of riffing off of one another. But again, I couldn't get anybody to do it with me. Then all my friends moved, like no kidding, one right after the other. This one moved to another county. This one moved to another state. So the 3 or 4 friends that I had IRL were just gone. Then in 2016, I had a little bit of a mental health breakdown. It had been a dam of years and years and years of accumulating fuck shit. And I didn't get help. I didn't get therapy. I didn't have family to talk to. I didn't have friends to talk to. I had nobody to talk to. So the dam just burst. I remember I would sleep for 2 or 3 days at a time. I wouldn't eat. I would get up and go pee, and that was it. I wasn't doing anything but just laying in bed for days. I was in real bad shape. I didn't want to be here anymore. I was in really, really bad shape. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll just do this alone. So in 2017, around this time of the year, late summer, early August into September, I started playing around with YouTube again and saying, maybe I can make this work. So come November of 2017, I sat down and said, let me do Zero Mission and let that be my first playthrough because, Zero Mission, it'll be a double meaning. And the rest has been history. I've been doing this now for going on 10 years and it has not taken off and been widely successful. But a large part of that is because I've refused to do what every other YouTuber does. A large part of this in the beginning was to help with my mental health. And after that, it was about maintaining like the minimum level of mental health. My weight has fluctuated. The time of day that I stream has fluctuated. The types of games that I play has fluctuated. This journey on YouTube has been such a roller coaster of emotions and just content that it's been more for my benefit than anybody else's. So at the end of the day, if I had the opportunity and the money or the ability to do anything, I think that I would focus on maybe opening up a small company with maybe a couple of people and just focusing on like content creation. I would want to do it my way and try to aim it away from the current popular like trends of vertical content, clip shows, people on TikTok who just point at things above their head and the text on the screen for some reason and think that's doing something. I think that I would definitely show my ass and show my age and insist on making old school classic content, which is kind of what I'm doing now, to be completely honest. You know what I mean? Um, as far as like maybe doing a little movie here and there, like Joel Haver, that's a great YouTube channel. People like him do fun little movies on YouTube all the time. I would love to do that, but I just don't think I have the creative chops to do it as well as like he does. But you don't have to be great at something to do it. Again, I just feel like anything that I do at this point in my life, I'm having to do alone. I don't have friends. I don't have infrastructure. I don't have the ability, the money, the time, the effort, the want to do much else other than the Let's Plays because I just don't have the ability and the people to do it. But if I did anything, it would probably just be a small 2 or 3 group of people working together to stream, make content. And I can't ever imagine like doing anything bigger than that. I feel like my time has, and not to make myself sound like I'm going to die tomorrow, but I feel like my time to be like uber popular died decades ago. You know, you have the guy, the YouTuber that just made the back rooms. Like it's his generation's turn to like take the spotlight and be really popular. Doing what I do on YouTube again at this point is more for my benefit than anybody else's. I think it would be fun to maybe have a bit part in somebody else's little mini movie. I've always thought that if I had a little bit of training, I might be an okay actor. That could just me being, it could be hubris. I don't know. I don't think I'm narcissistic. I don't think I'm extremely self-centered to be the kind of Hollywood asshole that gets away with acting. But I like working on projects. I like doing stuff creatively. I just, how do you do it when you don't have talent? You know what I mean? It becomes very difficult to work on stuff when you are not very talented. So you kind of got to know your place and you kind of got to work with what you got. And that's why I do my YouTube channel, It's one of the main reasons that I started streaming on YouTube because I've been streaming on Twitch now for years and years, and they don't have an algorithm over there to save their lives. You just can't be discovered on Twitch. You could be discovered on YouTube, and then it's up to whether people want to continue to watch you or not, but you can't. Nobody's going to discover you on Twitch. And again, we're in a TikTok world now. So there's not really anybody watching the kind of content that I make. And if they do want to watch the kind of content that I make, they could watch people who do an infinitely better job than I. So I am at the bottom, kind of dry begging for views doing what I do. But I like it. Like star in some mini movies, school janitor. Well, that's about the only marketable skill I have in life is cleaning things. That's my special interest as an autistic is cleaning. Like I said, I got this in my hand within reach. And it's not a prop. I just happen to have this in reach. And I got to go fold laundry and do dishes as soon as I'm done with the stream anyway. So cleaning seems to be my lot in life, and I don't hate it. I like it. It gets harder to do the older you get, but yeah, that's my long-winded answer to your question. But I also feel like I don't tell all that. Every few years you have to retell all that because you have new viewers that come in. So that's my dealio here on the internet. But you go around the neighborhood and clean people's houses for some extra change. People don't want you to do that. That's the thing. Like this day and age, people don't trust that kind of stuff anymore. That was definitely something they are you autistic? Are you autistic? Are you insulting yourself? No, I'm not using it as an insult. I am on the spectrum. Absolutely. Um, now that I remember when I was younger, that was a thing that some of the ladies from the church would do. You know, yeah, my parents forced me to go to church as a kid, and that was something that they would talk about. Oh, we're going to go clean houses this week and make a little extra money. I don't think that world exists anymore. People are too shady and distrustful of one another. I don't know. Mhm. Like I said, I'm not really educated. I'm a blue collar person, but I've not taken care of my body over the decades. So any kind of hardcore blue collar work, I'm not really able to do anymore. I do the bare minimum as far as physical activity is concerned. I do try to stay active every day, though. I try to do as much as I can. I refuse. I refuse to lose mobility and become that person. I will die moving my body. All right. I'm gonna head out. It's been a good long one. I don't know what I'll play tomorrow. Oh, that sun is coming right in, isn't it? Middle class neighborhoods of people. People who had that kind of house cleaning money are just gonna hire a service to have somebody come in and do it weekly or bi-weekly or whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna head out. Thank you everybody for being here. We got 3 jobs done in one go, which is great. Don't usually do that. All right. See you folks.